Hey, I'm Titus from the sponsorship space, and I'm going to talk about how to get sponsorship leads. If you need sponsorship leads in the next 30 days, you need sponsorship leads in the next 90 days, if you need sponsorship leads in the next 6 to 12 months, I'm going to give you different methods and systems to execute this to meet your sponsorship revenue deadlines and goals. So, 30 days, let's talk about it. Quick, you're kind of behind the ball. You need to move fast. Fast leads, fast decisions. Your primary goal is to book conversations quickly. You need to get in front of as many decision makers as quickly as possible. You need to find them and interact with them and let them know your event exists and you have sponsorship opportunities. The best lead source, you're going to want to work your warm adjacent brands. We call this your kind of inner circle, your circle of influence, where leads can come from. You don't have a ton of time to do cold outreach, to do cold calling, and to interact with a bunch of people that don't know about your event, don't know that you as a person, don't know that you exist. So what you need to interact with, you need to find all your past sponsors, any size event, any person that has been in your email, even if it's 5, 10 years ago, a pre-COVID sponsor. You need to reach out to them. And this is what you're going to say. You're going to simply say, I have an event coming up in the next 30 days, whatever the date is. We worked previously, whenever you work together. If you would like to be a sponsor or you know of any organization that would like to reach X type of audience, whatever type of audience you have, reach out to them. Same for vendors and partners. You're going to reach out to food vendors, anybody, big and small, and you're probably going to stay local. You don't have much time to work up the corporate ladder channels to get real sponsorship dollars. You're going to want to work with your local community, but that doesn't mean you can't cut a bunch of $15 to $5,000 sponsorship and meet your sponsorship revenue goals. So you're going to reach out to anybody. If they're a past food vendor, they're a past partner of any kind, anybody on your planning team, anybody inside your organization that might know somebody. You're going to say, hey, the event's coming up in 30 days. We have sponsorship opportunities. I would even, to cut through the pain, I usually don't say this, so you want custom sponsorship opportunities, but I would say pricing starts at whatever your lowest price point is. Would you like to be a sponsor, or do you know anybody that would like to be a sponsor and get access to our audience? Chamber meetings. If you have one Chamber of Commerce meeting, you have a Chamber of Commerce person, they usually have a list of local businesses that have sponsored in the past or interested. I would call them, ask for that list, interact with them, say, hey, our local 5K is coming up. We're looking for sponsorship in the next 30 days. We're doing a promotional to for last minute deals. Let them know what pricing starts at. Sponsors of similar events. If you're doing a 5K or whatever the event is, you're going to find other 5Ks or other events similar to yours, and you're going to go and you're going to find sponsors on their page and you're going to cold outreach them. You don't have a lot of time, but say, hey, so you sponsored X event. We have a similar type event located here, and probably you're going to do your local market, your same county, same minimum, same state, and then similar type event. Pricing starts at this. Would you like to get access to a similar type audience in your personal network? Any friends, family, anybody you know? Best channel. You're going to direct email them. Hopefully, you have a contact. If it's coming from a referral, if somebody's like, hey, I know so and so, have them connect you directly. I got your contact from this, or have this person say, hey, this is so and so from X event. I think you guys would be a great match for sponsorship. LinkedIn DMs, it's probably a little late in the game, but you can try it. You're gonna have to do phone calls, in-person ask, and door-to-door. Don't overlook the opportunity for last minute money. If you need sponsorship in the next 30 days, pick your biggest shopping centers, try to get five of your biggest shopping centers. Hopefully they have 5 to 10 businesses, and don't overlook it. If they have dry cleaners, if they have a tire shop, if they have your local coffee shop, donut shop, don't overlook them. Go in and say, hey, we have an event next 30 days happening this point. Would you like access to a local audience? And you're going to get a lot of no's, but if you do five shopping centers and they each have 10 businesses in them, that's 50 locations you're going to hit off. If you get one sponsor at $2,500, that paid off. You could probably do that in a day or two. So door to door, in-person asks. What wins? Simple ask. Let them know. Let them know what pricing starts at. You don't have much time to negotiate and to fluff around to get cute. One clear opportunity. We're looking for sponsors for this, A, B, and C. Just what does it look like? Short decision maker. We got to move fast. So you got to get straight to the decision maker, top person, the founder, the owner of the business, and they have to make that decision pretty much on the spot. Don't forget, this is key. Don't forget in-kind partnerships. These can really help you fund your event and can lead to better sponsorships for next event. Let me explain. There's monetary, that's cash. They write you a check, they pay to get access to your audience, to interact at your event with your audience. In-kind works like this. In-kind is not an exchange of monetary money, but what they do is they give us service. So maybe your local donut shop, you have 100 volunteers at your event. Your local donut shop's like, hey, I don't have any money, but I can donate, I can do in-kind 100 donuts for your volunteers the morning of your event, and we just want a booth or we just want to hand out coupons at your event. Incredible. You didn't get cash, but you solved another problem with having to feed your volunteers. Maybe a local grocery store is like, hey, we can't cut a check at this time. It's too late in the game. We got to go up the corporate ladder, whatever the case may be. But we can donate a pallet of water that can help your volunteers, that can do this. Whatever the case may be, a local screen printing. Hey, we can print your volunteer t-shirts at a super discounted rate in exchange for a footprint, in exchange for branding. You're going to get a lot of these last minute. You don't have a lot of time. They didn't budget in for your event. They probably don't have sponsorship dollars, but in-kind partnerships can really help fund your event, especially in the 30-day window, to make things happen. And the beauty of it, they're part of their event. They get a huge ROI, return on their investment, of giving the donuts, of doing the water donation, of doing the t-shirt screen printing. Next year, you can come back. They're in your pipeline. You can ask for monetary sponsorship. Key mindset here: speed over scale. You're out of time. You're working too late. You're not going to get a ton of high monetary sponsorship working up the corporate ladder. So don't waste your time doing cold email, trying to reach out to Ford, Amazon, and get big sponsorship dollars. Work your local area, speed over scale. But what you're going to grow, you have a ton of opportunity. I could close 10 sponsors in a week if I were hustling, no problem, maybe even more of that. So speed over scale, it's not too late. You can still get sponsorship revenue. You'd be shocked. You could probably close $20,000 for a small event in your local area. 90 days, much better window, still a little late in the game for big corporate. You want a predictable sponsorship pipeline. So you're looking at 3 months before your event. Your primary goal is consistent qualified leads. You want leads coming in every single day. You want to do outreach every single day. Your best lead source, in my opinion, is cold outbound with structure. Let me explain. You're going to create a list of emails. So where the leads come from? Sponsorship database, apollo.io. This is a website that gives you emails of decision makers. You're going to look in similar industries, regional, national brands. National is probably a long shot, but worth a small try. And you're going to do companies with marketing budgets. What you're going to do is you're going to use a few channels. You're going to do cold email sequences. You're going to do a CRM, client relations management, email softwares. You're going to reach out through LinkedIn, and you're going to ask them to book a call on your calendar. So what this looks like, you're going to get a list of 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 leads that you're going to go to apollo.io, and you're going to try to get decision makers from that list. Now, you're going to reach out to 30 of those people every single day, 30 to 100 every single day, and you're going to create an email sequence. First one's going to say, hey, we have an event coming up this date. We're looking for event sponsorship. Then 3 days after, you're going to do a follow-up. And then 3 days after that, you're going to do another follow-up email. What you're trying to do is to get a system in place of cold outreach. You're also going to mix in a few calls here, a few LinkedIn messages with those same people, with those decision makers inside the brands. Once again, using tools like the website apollo.io to get decision makers contacts. Be strategic when you're building your list in terms of reaching out to people that will make sense. If you have a 5K, reach out to athletic brands, food and beverage brands that make sense in the sports and fitness world. You're being strategic, consistent follow up. You have time. Make sure you're following up with all these people, not just one email. Sales is in the follow up. And then what you're asking when they do reply and they say, hey, I'm interested in sponsoring the event. I'd love to hear more. Send them a pitch deck. If you don't, if I would prefer a custom proposal. You still have time for this. Also send them a calendar, a booking calendar. So you create a calendar on Google Calendar, Outlook, Calendly, and say, hey, these are my time slots where you can speak with them. You can hear about their marketing goals, and you can create a custom proposal about how to reach those goals. If you feel like it's too late in the game to do custom proposals, then you just, when they raise their hand, say, I'm interested in sponsoring the event, send them your sponsorship deck. You want relevance over volume. You want intentional conversations. You want clear audience data, and you want outcome-based offers. Let them know if you're reaching out to a barbershop, this barbershop did X amount of sales after sponsoring an event. You want to be intentional. This isn't just spray and pray. You have a little bit of time. You want to be very intentional with your offer. Systems beat hustle. It's going to take a lot of quantity, but the way you do quantity is you put systems in place. Now, let's talk about 6 months, 6 to 12 months. Here, we want to do outreach, just like we talked about, but then we want to nurture, we want to network, and we want to compound. So you have a little bit of time where the primary goal is you want warm leads that turns into long-term sponsorship. Best lead source, nurtured cold leads plus real world connections. You're going to go to networking events and conferences, and you're going to let them know your event is happening in a 6 to 12 month window. You're going to do cold outreach as well, similar to out here, but you have more time. Your nurture and your cold outreach can move slower. You can follow up a week or 2 weeks after. It doesn't have to be 3 days after. You want to do industry mixers and chambers. You want to go to a local chamber of commerce event. Introduction referrals. You want to do what you did here, where you use your inner circle, your circle of influence, but it can move slower. It can be more intentional. It doesn't have to be immediate. Re-engage with past conversations. So if they sponsored a previous event last year, you're 10 months out, say, hey, just want to start the conversation now about you being at the event. You're going to be able to work better, more corporate, higher end sponsors this way because you have more time. You have time to work up the corporate ladder and the decision-making ladder. But you're still using cold email from Apollo.io to find decision makers and an email software to create cold email sequences. You want LinkedIn touch points. You want to follow brand decision makers on LinkedIn, engage with them, do subtle touch points, in-person networking, and warm reintroduction. Reach out to your circle of influence. Say, hey, I know you were connected with so-and-so at such and such a brand. Would you mind introducing them? I want to start the conversation about them sponsoring our event coming up in the 6 to 12 month window. Consistent touch points wins. We don't want to just fall through the crack. We want to be consistent with our touch points. Familiarity and trust. We have time to build that. It's not just spray and pray. And then timing alignment. What you're going to find is when you're reaching out 6 to 12 months, you're going to get a lot of, hey, our budget isn't in place. Follow back up in 2 months and our budget will be in place and we can get on your calendar. Relationships compound over time. These are the relationships that you build and lead to big sponsorship dollars. And you get an initial touch point and they're like, hey, we're looking at doing a middle tier sponsorship at X amount of dollars. You can really work them and try to get more sponsorship value by being real intentional with custom proposals that show how to meet their goal and how your audience helps them win. Let's do a quick rules to remember. 30 days, proximity, nearby. You're not going regional. You're not going national. Proximity, you're doing local. 90 days is all about systems. You want to have systems in place. You're in a tight window, but if you have good, efficient systems, you can do big numbers. 6 to 12 months relationships with systems. We want to be strategic, have a systematic approach to building long-term relationships. So, how do you generate leads with decision makers? If you want to generate leads with decision makers, that's exactly what I do as an individual. If you want to outsource your prospecting and outreach, you can work with me through the link below, and I will do all your prospecting, outreach and nurturing leads for you. So decision makers are booked on your calendar every single week, and we nurture them over a long period of time, 90 plus days. And I do that for you, and it's all backed with an ROI guarantee. There's no ways to lose money. If you pay for my service and I don't get sponsorship revenue back in what you pay, I will give you the difference. Literally impossible to lose money. There's no commission. It's just one-time fee. And if you make anything, if you make $100,000 over that one-time fee, you keep everything over the initial fee. So if you want to work with me, if you want somebody, you're short on time, your team is a little small, and you know that you need to be nurturing these people for a long period of time, I'd love to work with you through the link below. It comes with an ROI guarantee. I know how to scrape leads. I know how to interact with them and nurture them over a long period of time. When I got into event sponsorship, I was good at the sales. I was good at pricing. I was good at creating sponsorship decks. I was good at keeping sponsors happy the week in the event and making sure that the deliverables are being executed. What I found was the toughest part, the biggest pain point for me, was finding the decision maker, the prospecting, and consistently reaching out to those decision makers multiple times, doing multiple touch points. So what I said is I can help other events, big and small, that have that same pain point, finding the decision makers that make sense for their event and doing a systematic outreach to them to lead to large sponsorship revenue. So if you like that service, click the link below. Like, subscribe, and let me know if there's any other options to consider when getting sponsorship revenue. Hope this video helped.